Howdy folks, once again this is Donnie with some exciting news, or at least I think it's exciting, and that's the fact that the betas of the Red Hat 10 family are finally coming out, right? So Red Hat 10 of course is going to be the next new version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and of course the clones will come out as well. The clones will follow that, right? So here I am on the DistroWatch page for today, which is Friday the 13th. Whoa, Friday the 13th, 2024. I should probably go back in bed, bury my head in a pillow or something, you know. But anyway, but no, I'm not that superstitious. So, but anyway, here we are on the DistroWatch page for today, December 13th, 2024, and we see here up at the top, CentOS 10 Stream is now out. It's officially. CentOS 10 Stream, of course, is the base upon which Red Hat Enterprise 10 and all of the various clones will be built. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. It's the base upon which Red Hat Enterprise 10 and AlmaLinux 10 will be built. The other Red Hat clones will be built upon the actual Red Hat source code. And we'll talk about that a bit more in just a bit. But we can come on down here. We see that Red Hat 10, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10, the beta version for that is out. And we can come down here a little bit further, and we see that AlmaLinux 10 beta is out. So yeah, pretty exciting, right? Now, of course, unless you're a paying customer of Red Hat, you're not going to be able to access the beta version of Red Hat Enterprise 10. And even if you can, I mean, yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything with it anyway, because you can't access the repositories. But I did try out AlmaLinux 10, and I've also I've been running. I've actually been running CentOS 10 Stream for a while, playing with it, and because it was the ISO files were available for download, even though that was not officially released, you know. So I grabbed it actually a couple of months ago and started playing with it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead here and look at the release notes for AlmaLinux 10, because that's the one that I downloaded this morning and installed it on the on a machine that's in the other room, and it's working very nicely so far. But anyway, release notes here. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you here because I'll let you come and do that for yourself. But if we can. But what I will say here, what I will point out is that if you go on down here, pretty much everything that is new in AlmaLinux is going to match what is new in Red Hat Enterprise 10, okay? Most of it, okay? And you can see there we got a bunch of stuff there that's updated to newer versions. But what really interests me more than anything is the new security features, the new and updated security features. And you can see here, for one thing, let me increase that a little bit. There we go. For one thing, right up there at the top, you see system-wide cryptographic policies have been updated. And for the OpenSSL TLS toolkit and the OpenSSH suite now work with post-quantum algorithms. Yeah, so we got that in there. Yeah, about time. And I don't know if you saw, I didn't really read the details of it. I just saw a couple of videos on YouTube. Somebody talked about how Google has supposedly come out with a new chip which brings us closer to quantum computers. I don't know the details. I haven't really looked at the videos. I just saw the video titles. But anyway, yeah, quantum computing, it's getting closer and closer, right? So it's a good thing that we're getting these post-quantum algorithms now included in our Linux distros. Have new pseudo system role, which allows consistently managing pseudo configuration at scale across your systems. Okay, I have not played with that yet. I'm going to need to, and I can maybe do a video about that later. And then also down here we have new PGP tools. PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy, and of course we have the GNU PG already. We've had that for a long time as a default part of our Linux distros. But now we have the Sequoia PGP tools, and they complement the existing GNU PG tools for managing open PGP encryption and signatures. Again, I've not played with that yet. Something else I can perhaps do a video on later. And then we have OpenSSL Toolkit. Is now FIPS compliant. It can now create FIPS compliant files. And so that's important if you're working with like government contractors, especially the U.S. government. OpenSSH suite updated. SE Linux user space release 3.7 introduces a new option for audit to allow, providing CIL output mode. I don't know what CIL output mode is. Again, I'll have to look at that, maybe do a video later. Audit to allow, though, I can tell you about that. It's just a utility that allows you to create your own custom SE Linux policies in case, let's say you've just installed some brand new software and it's causing problems with SE Linux. It won't run because SE Linux is preventing it. Well, you can use the audit to allow utility to search through the audit file in your logs directory, and it will identify the problem and automatically create a policy that you can apply in order to have that new software work. Okay, and then we have the Keylime agent component, provides support for initial device identity and initial attestation key for device identity, and uses TLS 1.3 by default. Again, I'm not real familiar with Keylime, but I think it has something to do with maybe two-factor authentication. I'm not sure. Again, I'll look at that later. But still, though, even if we don't know what all the stuff is, yeah, we can see there a lot of different security things, and which I will be putting into the next edition of my book, of course. So, but anyway, and then down here, this is where I get to say, neener, I told you so. I told you so. Because, a while back, people were in a panic because the Red Hat company, probably by direction of their masters at IBM, decided to close off the Red Hat Enterprise source code to anybody except for paying Red Hat customers. And so people went into a panic, and they started saying, oh, well, we just need to switch to Debian now because it's not controlled by a corporation the way Ubuntu and Red Hat are. So if we get something that's not controlled by a corporation, things will be so much better. We won't have to worry about them playing these games like this, right? And I was like, hey, chill, people. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Things could turn out okay. And they have turned out okay. Because we had two different things happen, right? We had on one side, we had Rocky Linux, Oracle Linux, and the SUSE people all figured out ways to still grab the source code for Red Hat Enterprise, okay? And, basically they did it by setting up a Red Hat instance on a cloud server and grabbing the source code that way from it, because that way they were considered as paying customers, right? So so they were able to get it. But and then set up containers as well, grab the source code like that, and so yeah, they figured out a way to do it, right? So they just continued on grabbing the source code like that and building the exact clones of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. On the other hand, we have AlmaLinux, which took a different approach. And what they did is that they basically followed the suggestion that the Red Hat people put out. So the Red Hat people said, hey, we don't want people just going in and making exact clones of our Red Hat Enterprise Linux. If you're going to make a clone or make a Red Hat-like product, just get the CentOS stream, get the source code for CentOS stream, and build from that, right? And so that's exactly what the AlmaLinux people did. And in one of my videos, it's the one called The Revenge of the Red Hat Clones, I said that, look, there's a possibility that Alma, by doing that, will make a Red Hat clone that's better than the original Red Hat. And that's exactly what they're doing. They now will submit bug reports. They actually fix bugs, okay? They fix bugs that are in the upstream Red Hat and feed them back to Red Hat. So they're actually also helping to improve Red Hat. And also getting bug fixes to the users a lot faster. And of course, they also provide support services. So, yeah, I said, and I said in that previous video, I said, wouldn't it be interesting if AlmaLinux were to become better than Red Hat? And I said, if that happens, Red Hat will have no one but themselves to blame, because they told everybody, yeah, take the CentOS stream software, just build something else, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot. Every time they try to restrict people from getting their source code or whatever else, they shoot themselves in the foot. It's like they do themselves more harm than good, right? But anyway, let's look at some of the deviations from Red Hat Enterprise 10 here in the AlmaLinux 10. Okay, so first off, starting with AlmaLinux OS 10 version, a new architecture was added, x86 64v2. Okay, now, the reason for that is that Red Hat Enterprise 10 and CentOS 10 Stream will only work on x86 64v3 processors, all right? And so that means that if you have an older processor that's running Red Hat Enterprise 9, you cannot upgrade it to Red Hat Enterprise 10. You have to replace the machine. Now, AlmaLinux, again, this is another one of those things where they could be stealing business from Red Hat, and again, it's Red Hat's own fault. They did it to themselves. But they are producing a new version of AlmaLinux 10, which will work on the older version 2 x86 64 machines, okay? And so if you have older hardware then, yeah, you can keep running it, right? And that might not be a big deal for large enterprises, but if you're in a small business, maybe you can't afford to replace your hardware all that often, but you still want to have the latest and greatest software, the latest and greatest operating systems on your machines, right? Well, thanks to AlmaLinux 10, you'll be able to do that, okay? But of course, they will have the V3 version as well, which I'm going to have to buy a new computer myself. This laptop that I'm using right now is one of two computers in the house that's new enough to run a V3 processor. So believe it or not. So I got CentOS 10 stream running on this thing right now, and in a virtual machine. But I can't run it on other machines in the house. And the other machine that'll run it is running Windows 10, and VirtualBox on that is broken. I don't know. Doesn't even work anymore. But anyway, so we won't talk about that. But anyway, also, the only slight catch here with this is that third-party software, like in the old EPEL, not old, but in the EPEL repositories, the EPL repository for RHEL 10 is only for V3 software right now. So, but they are considering the option of rebuilding the EPEL repository for the V2 users. So, and they said if you use this version, please let us know so we can make informed decisions about this system or about this version in the future, right? And then we see other things here that were taken out of the Red Hat Enterprise 10 and were put back in. I'm not going to talk too much about them. And also, if you are a desktop user and you choose to run AlmaLinux as a desktop, then you can. Okay, I lost it here. Oh, there we go. AlmaLinux 10 has added Firefox and Thunderbird in the system repositories as regular RPM packages, and apparently they've been taken out of the Red Hat 10. I don't know whether they want you to run them as snap packages or Flatpak packages or whatever, but for the AlmaLinux 10, they're back in there as regular RPM packages. Okay, and of course, also if you have older hardware, you got a bunch of drivers here which were taken out of Red Hat Enterprise 10. Well, AlmaLinux 10 is adding them back in. So, good news there, right? And of course, you can come down here. You got your installation instructions and all that, right? So, so yeah, that's pretty much it, right? But anyway, that is the news that I have. I'll go ahead and put this wiki page here in the with release notes in the video description, and so that you can come in here and check it out. Okay, now with all that said, it's time for a word from my sponsors, which is me. And first off, my book, Mastering Linux Security and Hardening, and 3rd edition. And this is a practical guide for protecting your Linux system from cyber attacks. So this book, it's been getting 5 stars, and don't pay attention to this up here. This is for another book. That threw me off the first time I saw it. I said, wait, they're only 4 stars now? But no, down here's the rating you want to see, right? So I got a bunch of 5-star reviews there, and 78 ratings, 4.8 altogether. So that's not bad, not shabby, right? But anyway, if you want to be a system administrator, if you are a systems administrator and you want to secure your Linux systems as much as possible to prevent people from breaking in, this book is for you, okay? And also, over here, I have Linux Service Management Made Easy with Systemd, Advanced Techniques to Effectively Manage, Control, and Monitor Linux Systems and Services. And again, this is a book for anyone who is a Linux administrator or wants to become one. And it's not a book about Systemd, it is the book about Systemd, because it is the only one that's ever been written, if you can believe that. Yeah. But anyway, other Linux administration books might tell you, how to start and stop your different services with Systemd, and that's pretty much it. But here I cover the whole gamut, the entire Systemd ecosystem, services, networking features. There's that are part of System D. Like I can show you how to use a network System D or System D Network D. Yeah, the names are confusing, but anyway. But fortunately, the book is not confusing. So I think you'll get a lot out of it. The best review I've saw, which made me laugh, a reader said, "Hey, this book makes me look smart." So yeah, if you want to look smart, get this book, okay? Purchase links will be in the description below. And that's pretty much all I got here. And be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. So have a great day. Take care.